right, so welcome back, episode 13, No Cap Sports Podcast. We're coming to y'all back on the Zoom. You know, my boy Van's out of sight, out of mind right now, so go on, tell me where you at, Van.
Yes, sir. I'm in Kansas. We over here chilling. Got some stuff to take care of. I'll be back. We'll be back next week.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, we'll most definitely be back next week. But right now we got some big news to talk about. Biggest news of the week in a while, big NFL news. Jamal Adams finally gets his trade. So what happens is Seahawks get Jamal Adams and the 2022 fourth-round pick from the Jets. The Jets get safety Bradley McDougald, a 2021 first-round pick, a 2022 first-round pick, and a 2021 third-round pick on top of that. So what are y'all's initial thoughts about this trade?
I don't know if the No Cap audience knows, but I'm a lifelong Jets fan, dating back to the Chad Pennington days.
That's a sad life to live, brother. Sad life to live.
On my doomed fandom, bro. But yeah, I've been rocking with the Jets as a Jet. And I'm not gonna lie, we down bad right now. Jamal Perez is probably was the best player on the team right now. We're gonna praise for saying Donald sprinkle some polo water or something like that. But as an unbiased analyst, I think that we won the trade, bro. I think that we won the trade. You get a above average replacement for Perez and Bradley McDougald. Yeah, let me see. I got it written down here somewhere. Oh yeah. 42 tackles, a forced fumble, 2 picks, and 6 PBUs, and he's only 29. So that's okay. Okay value for.
He's still a starting level safety. I get what you're saying.
Him and Marcus made together. That's not the worst safety combination that you have in the league. Get 2 first rounders. That's ultimate draft capital, especially for a team that's not going to be successful anytime soon. And then you swap out a third, fourth, fourth. So the way I see it is, the Hawks, Pete Carroll and the Hawks, because Pete Carroll is a DB's coach, so he's really, invested in the secondary, dating back to the Legion of Boom days. So, but I don't think that you can really justify this much, capital for Jamal. He's like this defensive player of the year, type of impact that he has. And I mean, he's a great player, and I think that he can definitely revamp that secondary in Seattle. Yeah. But if he doesn't push him to Super Bowl contention, I don't think that it's going to be ultimately worth it.
I think this is the best move. I mean, it's a win-win for both teams, in my opinion. I think this puts Seattle clearly in front of the 49ers. I mean, this is just from what I see. I mean, it was tick for tack. What was one game out of winning the division last year? Or was it 2 games? 1 or 2 games?
I think it was one.
It was one, yeah, because that dude got tackled at the 1 yard line. Yeah. So I think this puts them in front of them clearly. I feel as if the Jets they're building for the future. So it's just like by the time he's ready to play, Jamal Adams. By the time the Jets are ready to compete, it's basically gonna be Jamal Adams gonna be almost in his 30s probably. So it's like go ahead and rebuild and get it together. So it's a win-win. I think the Seahawks will probably – I have them in the NFC Championship game.
Okay. And it's a lot of prototypes they got to match up with. They got Kittle, you got Kyler Murray. You just got a lot of dynamic guys in that division. And Perez kind of just bringing that ultimate, hybrid guy that can,
Exactly. Like you said, Jamal Adams is that ultimate hybrid. I got his snaps right here, bro. He played 30% of his snaps at inside linebacker. 10% of his snaps at outside linebacker, 14% at nickel slot corner, 4% at outside corner, and 42% as a safety. So, you look at a guy like this.
No, yeah, even watching the game in person, he's in the box more than he's single.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely true. He's most definitely in the box more than he is playing that safety spot. And that's what I think about, when you say, the value he brings to a team. You know what I'm saying? Because, Vance mentioned, you got to match up with the George Kittles, the Kyler Murrays, the Cooper Kupps, all of those guys in the NFC West, and he's just that ultimate Swiss Army knife to compete with all of that. And then, also, you got to look at Seattle's pass defense last year. Last year, their pass defense was 24th worst in the league. They gave up the 6th worst passing yards with 4,223. And a guy like Adams, he's just versatile enough to play man coverage, play zone coverage. be that sub linebacker to come in and nickel packages and just man the middle of the field, play run and pass. And also, like, I think one of the biggest ways Adams can help this team is you got a team who didn't have a edge rush, didn't have a player who had over 4 sacks last year. Since entering the league in 2017, Adams has 12 sacks. So over 3 years, he got 12 sacks. He can contribute a lot to this Seattle team, especially in ways that they're lacking.
Is Seattle the best team in the NFC West?
I'm not going to go that far to say that still. I think that the system that the 49ers have in place and some of the off-season moves that they build, I think that not at week one, I'll say that. I'll still put the 49ers, I'll put the NFC West as a week one. But that's the toughest division in football, so it's going to be a lot of beating each other for playoff position. But I got something to wrote down for y'all because, I mean, just especially nowadays, because I don't see there's been a trend of, trading a lot of draft capital away for star players. So I got the last 3 guys that have been traded for at least 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Khalil went from the Raiders to the Bears. Laramie Tunsil went from the Dolphins to the Texans. But they also got Kenny Stills.
They got Kenny Stills in that, too. Yeah.
And then, Jalen Ramsey, Jaguars to the Rams. So, my question is, where would y'all put Maul? Where would you rank those guys 1 through 4?
Khalil 1 for sure.
Yeah,
exactly. Because that's a valuable position.
I can't even lie, but still, he
Tunsil's at the back.
Say it again.
Tunsil's at the end.
Wait, hold on. Are we talking about just players or impact on their new team?
I was just saying, like, talent.
I was about to say best football players.
So I'm going to say Khalil, Jalen. I'm going to go Khalil, Jalen, Jamal, Laremy. We call him Laremy over here.
Laremy?
I mean, you got to think about it. You getting Tunsil and Stills. So to be honest, if I'm going Mac, Tunsil, and Ramsey, Adams. That's how I'm rocking with it.
Like that's not the thing. Like just analyzing these three deals, and just your admittance that that Jamal probably be the least talented player on that great group, and it was probably who did you get traded to? The Hawks, they gave up the most value to get him. So unless he can have like I said, kind of a defensive player of the year type of 2020, I don't see how they can really justify that. But if they get a ring, then it don't really matter.
Okay. So we're talking about the Hawks right now. So Adams wants to be the highest paid safety in the league.
Yeah.
So right now the highest paid safety is the Bears. Eddie Jackson. He's getting around $14.6 million a year. So, do y'all see Seattle being a long-term home for Jamal Adams, or do you think this is just a temporary deal? Think about they already got Bobby Wagner on contract, Russell Wilson on contract. You're going to have to pay Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf down the line. So, how do y'all see this working out for –
He got a year left on his rookie deal and a 5th-year option. So, I don't see him immediately getting shipped out. But the contract.
But, I mean, he wants that extension, ASAP. That was the big sticking point with the Jets.
I seen looking at some numbers before yesterday. Around he gonna try to get about 4 for like 65 to 70 and Kendall.
Yeah.
How important is you can't overstate it for the defense wins championships. How important is a safety on today's game? A non-quarterback, really. We know the game is better predicated off 2 things. Passing and rushing the passer. And if you're not really doing one of those 2 things, where does your value lay in terms of positioning? And, it's great. Jamal can be the best safety in the league. I would still put money back. But not even with the buys, but that positional value and all the stuff that they gave up to get him, I don't see that unless he just has a spectacular season, which is very within the realm of possibility. I don't see that, even if he performs how he expects to, that they won that trade.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with what you're saying in terms of position value, but you can't look at Jamal Adams as just a safety. And even though, he wants those big dollars, I will say he's only created 8 turnovers in his career. A guy like Eddie Jackson, I can't remember. He said he led the league in interceptions that 1 year. So, that's an impact player. And not to say Jamal Adams isn't, but it's hard. It's just hard to justify paying a guy like that much money, especially when you have to invest everywhere else.
I'm gonna throw this out there. I don't watch many Jets games, but like the few I have watched over the last 2 seasons, he was clearly the best player on the field.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, hands down on that defense. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like you can't match that. I think he pushed them over the top. I really do. I mean, he might not. But I think he pushed them over the top to at least get to the NFC Championship game.
I agree. I think it puts Seattle in a better position. Long term, I just don't know how I feel about it. Well, now I want to kind of look at this from the Jets side. So how do y'all feel about, how the Jets are coming after this trade?
Well, let me ask Josh. Do you think Sam Darnold is the answer?
He's a fill in the blank right now. He's not a short ass. He's just a fill in the blank right now.
So somehow the Jets get the number 1 pick next season. Do you take Trevor Lawrence?
Without a question. Because you see what happened. I mean, we had franchise like what happened with the Cardinals a couple years ago. They drafted Josh Allen and then drafted Kyler Murray a season afterwards. You don't pass up transcendent talents because you already have somebody there in place right now.
If you want to transcend the time, you draft Justin Fields, by the way, but I'm going to say that for later.
Ooh, I like that. I mean,
over.
When we, let's see him fight it out. He's a little California kid. He's a little soft, on the edges. Let him fight it out and win his job.
Yeah.
His performance right now, I mean, he's still very young, and quarterback is the hardest position to learn in the league. But the fact is, he hasn't really popped up like some guys we've seen. You feel me? So, I try to be patient with young quarterbacks. At least I was patient with Geno Smith, patient with Mark Sanchez. So my patience is running thin. So,
yeah,
you could be a Browns fan, bro. So it could be worse.
My brother Richard, he a Browns fan. I don't know how he does it. He got clout though, so it don't really matter.
All right, so just looking on the defensive side of the ball for the Jets, do you think they're going to, produce the same, or do you think it's going to be a drop-off in terms of that defense?
Oh, it's going to.
And it wasn't a bad defense last year. It was very middle-of-the-pack defense. So.
That's the thing, because our offense was at least bottom of the shoe versus the pass. But, I mean, when you lose a guy like Jamal, there's no just really replacing him with one person.
Yeah.
The expectation is going to be put on Bradley McDougald. He's a nice player, but he's not a Jamal Adams. So it's kind of going to be a group effort. We're going to have to play more as 11-on-1 versus relying on Jamal to play, which could be good for the defense. Guys like to step up, but we're going to need some pieces. I did read this morning, I think that Clowney is potentially interested in coming on, so that'll be a good piece to get on some pass rush presence, something like that. I know kind of knows that. If he's on my team, he's good. So you don't even. I just kind of see the what is called an addition by subtraction. I feel like some guys can kind of rally behind that, especially with Le'Veon, being in his feelings a little bit behind how Prez did him. So
I don't blame. I do not.
How many games did the Jets win last season?
Was it 5? 5 or 6? Yeah.
5. They'll win 5 again this year. I feel as if Le'Veon is definitely gonna have a bounce back season.
Got to. He has that contract.
And with him running the ball, it's gonna run out the clock some more. I'm not saying the defense is gonna be better, but it won't be that much of a drop off just because the offense will be slightly better this season. But, hey, speaking of Clowney, you know what team I got him going to now?
Oh, let me hear it.
The New England Patriots, bro. Belichick about to cut all them players that don't want to play because of Corona. And he going to have enough money to go ahead and sign Clowney. He going to make it happen.
Yeah, and I will say Belichick did just clear up the AB and Aaron Hernandez situation, so they got some cap space to do it now. I could see it happening, but turning back to the Jets, I will say this. Last season, the Jets' 2 starting inside linebackers, Avery Williamson and C.J. Mosley, only played 2 games combined.
I'm about to say, they were both hurt the majority of the season.
Exactly. And C.J. Mosley was a big free agent investment. So this year, coming into 2020, you get both those guys back. You bring in cornerback Pierre Desir from Indianapolis, who's a solid guy. He's not, top tier, but he's going to hold his own.
Yeah.
And then you lose Adams, but you get back a capable starter in McDougal. I can see this unit taking a step forward just as a complete unit. You know what I'm saying?
It might.
Because especially if McDougal can find a way to get Clowney in there. I'm not going to say it's going to be a top defense in the league, but it's going to be a vastly improved defense.
Top 10.
And like you said, with the offensive improvements, I can see it happening.
It all kind of takes is a lot of Sam in that next step that he can take this season, honestly.
Yeah, it does fall a lot on Sam Darnold's small hands.
Never forget the mono game, bro.
Yeah, he needs that mono vaccine this season.
Those versus the Patriots, that made me very concerned. Very concerned. He said he was out there seeing ghosts. You a grown man.
Yeah. And so, speaking of the Patriots, seems like a lot of Patriots have started opting out. So far, 6 Patriots have opted out. Safety Patrick Chung, running back and special teamer Brandon Bolden, newly signed fullback Danny Vitale, Marcus Cannon, and starting linebacker Dante Hightower, who just had a baby 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So how do y'all feel about the Patriots' chances of all of these impact players opting out? And how do you feel about just opting out in general?
I mean, well, in general, you know, you have to do what you got to do as a man and protect your family. So I can't, especially Dante Hightower. He has a 2-week-old, so I'm gonna kind of expected it from him, honestly. But football side, they're losing 3 stars: Chung, Dante Hightower, and Marcus Cannon. I think he was one of the star tackles left.
Yeah, he was a starting right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see how they get those guys replaced, especially Dante Hightower. He's kind of cornerstone of their defense, has been for a long time. So I just want to really like Man said, kind of slide Clowney into that off-ball linebacker position. Even though he's a little more comfortable with his hand in the dirt, but he definitely could. Belichick gets talented guys like that and finds a way to put him in the right positions. So,
yeah.
As much as I hate it, if he does get Clowney, he'll probably maximize it. He'll probably have double-digit sacks.
Man, Noah Belichick, he just from Delaware State or something like that. And he's gonna be an all-pro. And then, I mean, then again, Belichick could have told them just go ahead and sit out. We just gonna go ahead and take this season. You know, get Trevor Lawrence, start another 20-year dynasty. Bro, like this run Tom Brady was on was like, I mean, first of all, them players would have came back for Tom Brady. They not gonna come back for Cam Newton.
I don't think so.
They would have came back for Tom Brady.
Bro, come on, bro. Guys like Hightower and Chung, bro, they with the culture, bro. They definitely would have played with Cam, bro.
They would have came back for Tom Brady. I'm telling you, bro. They love Tom Brady.
The only reason they would have came back for Tom Brady is Tom would have been at their house knocking on the door. Like, come on, bro. TB12 playing, bro. Come on, bro.
Wow. How you feeling?
I was just saying, bro. I feel like there's, first of all, we just have to get rid of the stigma of opting out. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing it. Like, you know, like you said, you got a 2-week-old. Like, all these guys have families at home. Cannon had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma when he got drafted. I mean, like, you know, these are guys, like, with serious concerns.
Yeah.
So, I feel like, knowing the Patriots, they always got that one in the hole, that guy who can step up and take over. Especially with Cannon, because, like, Cannon was, like, a backup tackle. Well, a swing offensive lineman. Like, he lined up at guard tackle anywhere the Patriots need him his first 5 seasons. Last season was his first year starting. So, I know, like, the Patriots have, like, your Joni Kajust from West Virginia sitting in the hole, other guys that can possibly step up and take that spot. But I do agree that Dante Hightower is the biggest hit out of the guys that opted out, especially after losing Jamie Collins this offseason. Because Hightower is the quarterback of that defense, and he's responsible for just about everything that goes on. So I think that defense could, even though it's a Bill Belichick-led defense, I think we could see some Patriot defensive problems with the loss of Hightower.
After Chung started, did they have the McCourty guys back there starting?
Chung started at the strong, I think.
Okay.
Because Jason's a corner. Devin started at free.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if Harmon started at strong or if it was Chung. But either way, Chung played a lot of snaps.
One of them played the nickel, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Harmon that played the nickel. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure.
What's the other DB, the star one, the best one in the league? What's his name? I can't think of it.
Oh, Gilmore?
Yeah, Gilmore. So you had Gilmore, the twins, and Chung.
Yeah.
Patrick Chung been making plays. He was at the championship game in 2013.
He was making plays on that coke too. I thought he wasn't gonna play this year.
Dude, ridiculous.
That was a pretty ridiculous story from last year, but I remember getting a notification Patrick Chung gets house raided. I was like, oh man, he living a life we don't know about.
So, I had such a bad joke in my head, and I want to say it.
Nah, go ahead and tell it. Go ahead and tell it, bro.
We on camera, bro.
Go ahead and tell it.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Based on your track record, bro, you might want to keep that one to yourself.
All I was gonna say is they done pop smoked my boy. That's all I was gonna say. See, nah, you can't.
Yeah, all right, bro. Yeah, you kind of getting off, bro. R.I.P. to the Woo, bro. R.I.P. to the Woo, bro.
All right, which story was crazier, the Patrick Chung or the Earl Thomas story, bro?
Earl Thomas, man.
Earl Thomas,
that's crazy. It's just the visual of Earl Thomas dominating people on every Sunday. Yo, I just like, nah, my boy. I run this.
Except for Derrick Henry, by the way.
Chill
yes,
out,
sir. King.
And so
I bet Derrick Henry got a 4'11" shot at the crib that really just be bossing him around. I can just see it. Derrick, pick these dreads up.
You gonna slap me on the forehead?
Derrick Henry from Florida, he crazy, like legit crazy. So I wouldn't mess with him. And he built like the Hulk. So
yeah. So switching gears a little bit, we're gonna take a look at the NBA. Some more big news happening.
Finally, the NBA is back.
Yeah, but first, before we get to the NBA getting back, though, we gotta talk about Tom Thibodeau to New York. Signed a 5-year deal Friday. So
player deal, man. You said 5 years?
5 years.
5 years.
You think he making it through that contract?
Not at all. Not at all. I give him 2-3 years and he's out of there.
Do the Knicks make the playoffs in his contract 1 year?
No.
Nah, for sure, man.
Nah, the Knicks are very far away from playoff contention. Unless they land a mega star, they out of it.
LaMelo, so it's like they have too much talent at this point.
I mean, they in the East
don't
though.
have talent like that.
How many games you gotta win to make the playoffs in the East? 35.
For sure. Like, I mean, the Magic in the playoffs right now. We're like 27 games. Like, come on now.
Bro, I'm just saying, bro. Like, even though they in the East, Thibodeau is not the right coach to get them there, bro.
Facts.
Hot take.
He could be an assistant.
Bro,
no.
I'm not going. In my opinion, bro.
Hold up, bro. Tom Thibodeau was the driving force behind those big three Celtics defense. He's not going to be no assistant coach.
Bro, first of all, he was an assistant coach for that big three Celtics defense.
Exactly. But
he hasn't had success in the league since he coached the Bulls. And last year with the Bulls was 2015, and that was when they were starting to slide. My thing with Tibbs, bro, he's a coach for the wrong era, bro. If Tibbs was a head coach in the 80s, 70s, we'd be talking about him like a Hall of Famer, bro. He's a defensive-minded, play-through-the-post coach, bro. That's not how the NBA plays anymore.
He's Larry Brown.
You want to know who he is? He the Jeff Fisher of the NBA, bro. I mean, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Very mediocre.
You, buddy.
But like,
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Mr. Hayes. I think that he has a good track record of developing talent. You know, even with
developing talent. Please tell me some young talent he has developed into good players.
Maintaining and harnessing, because you're not gonna put any coach on those Bulls teams with him, Luau Dane, Joakim Noah, and get the same results. You feel me? So I think that he has the right atmosphere, he has the right environment. He's a little abrasive. I think that he'll eventually wear down those guys. R.J. Barrett, Randall, being a Pat Riley practice Nazi. But I just think that while they're on the floor together, while they're they're gonna play some defense. I know that first of all, and I think that he'll grind on guys a little bit. They'll play better basketball.
I'm sorry, bro, but you all the way off the rails, bro. Because in his 3 years in Minnesota, he had the third worst defensive rating in the league, bro. A team with Jimmy Butler on the team.
He had a girl at center.
Bro, it doesn't matter. But I'm gonna talk about Karl Anthony Towns too, because look at how much Karl Anthony Towns' game has grown since Thibodeau left Minnesota. He's an elite scorer now. He's facilitating the offense. He's able to do it all, even on the defensive end. Ever since Tibbs left, bro. So you can say what you want about Karl Anthony Towns, but he has developed into a top-level center since Thibodeau left Minnesota. In addition to that, bro, Thibodeau's just not going to win games in today's NBA. In his last 2 seasons in Minnesota, the Timberwolves were last in threes attempted per game. You don't shoot threes, you're not going to win the NBA, bro. And that's point-blank, period.
Wiggins? Who going to shoot threes on that team? Wiggins?
Bro, you had Jimmy Butler.
Towns probably the best.
You had Karl Anthony Towns, but Karl Anthony Towns is shooting 6 threes a game right now.
Do you really want your center? I mean, I know this is the millennium 2020 age of basketball, but do you really want your center roaming around the perimeter the whole game?
On offense, yes.
Come on.
I mean, the only
Especially
team besides
when I got
that
Andrew
Bulls,
Wiggins on the team, yes.
the only team besides that Bulls team that would have thrived with his type of coaching style is the grit and grind Grizzlies, bro. Like he could have got away with coaching them, but he ran D Rose into the ground, bro. I don't think D Rose would not have torn his knees up, bro.
Exactly, bro. That's part of the problem. That's a big part of Tibbs' problem, bro. Because you got a coach who's gonna make you practice hard, like hard physical practices every day. No matter you got a game tomorrow, no matter what, you come in there, you're gonna practice hard, and then your starters playing 40+ minutes a game.
Yeah,
that's just not a good, especially with a young team, a very young team, a team that's had 3 top 10 picks in the last 3 years.
Hey, bro, speaking of Thibodeau and the Bulls, bro, whatever culture they got over there in Chicago, bro, I know they hate it ever since Jordan has left. Because who's the coach there now? Because they was hating on him. Like, their team had quit on him this past season.
They got Hoiberg been left. I can't think of the dude's name there right now.
Was it Hoiberg then that they had quit on?
Yeah, I know they had quit on Fred though.
No, the head coach.
Yeah, bro. Shout out D Rose, but he hasn't been injured. Let me knock on wood for that one. He has not been injured since he got away from Thibodeau.
He really been trying to put up 50 with the T-Wolves. Wasn't Thibodeau coaching that team? Mr. Hayes?
No, Thibodeau was not coaching the Timberwolves this year.
He's not coaching them, man.
Bro, it was Flip Saunders Jr. that was coaching, not Thibodeau. But continuing to talk about the Knicks, bro. I feel like this is just a bad hire for another reason, bro. You need a coach in New York who can develop young talent, bro. So far, like I said, they've had 3 top 10 picks the past 3 years. Frank, what'd you say?
I'm just talking. Keep going for you.
So the past 3 top 10 picks: Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox, RJ Barrett. The only one that's really semi-panned out, and that doesn't even count because it was in the summer league, was Kevin Knox, bro. The best player that the Knicks have drafted, in my opinion, these past 3 years has been Mitchell Robinson. He was drafted 2nd round, I want to say 36, and it's just like you bring in all these young players, but you're not developing talent so that you can build a winning team. They just have a free agency to build a winner instead of developing the talent they have. And so what I'm saying is the Knicks should have hired a coach like a Kenny Atkinson, a Jason Kidd, who's good at developing young talent and making it into a good team. I like Mark Jackson too. He doesn't get enough credit for building the Warriors, bro.
Man, he would have built LaMelo.
They have a lot of tweener 3-4 guys: Knox, RJ Barrett, Bobby Porter, Julius Randle. Well, they got one of the Morris twins. They just have they have a very undefined type of roster. They trotting out. Oh, you're 6'7". No. You can a little bit. So yeah,
bro. On paper, the roster is fine. There's nothing wrong with the roster, bro. You've got guys who can score. Okay, so.
Hey, look, you know that was.
Bro, I'm saying you got Dennis Smith Jr. I like him. He hasn't played to his potential in New York, but how can you play to your potential in New York? You know what I'm saying? It's one of
But
the
you
saddest
in New York,
franchises
that's
in
the
league.
thing, bro. It's supposed to be one of the top franchises. When you in a big market like that, you got to be one of the better teams in the league, bro.
Bro, but think about it, bro. They keep trying to go after these big name free agents. We just saw it this offseason. KD chose the Nets over the Knicks, bro.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought it, bro? You know what I'm saying?
But KD weird. Like, him and Kyrie, they weird together. So it's like.
So, yeah.
Bro, but they haven't hit on a big name free agent since Melo, bro. They keep going after these big name free agents, and they just don't hit because nobody wants to play for the Knicks.
Nobody wants to play for the Dan Snyder of the NBA. So it's like that's kind of the biggest problem right there.
But I mean, you can say that's a problem, bro. But when you don't win games, I don't think they've been to the playoffs since 2015. I wouldn't want to put myself in that situation either, bro. Melo tried to save New York, and we saw how that went.
Yeah.
I just feel like.
I mean, he actually ruined New York if he keeping it a stack, bro.
No, for sure. He got all that there, for sure.
Because Stoudemire was going crazy that one season. Like, I was convinced they was going to get to the conference finals. And then he came and ruined whatever was going on in Melo, New York.
Melo and Stoudemire got there the same year, though.
No, so Stoudemire was there at the beginning, and Melo came via trade, like, in the middle of the season.
No, Melo was a free agent, bro. Melo was a free agent signing.
Oh,
no, I'm telling you,
it was a trade.
The Nuggets got like the whole Knicks team for Melo.
Yeah,
Gallinari, Aaron Aflalo. They was like 4 or 5 guys that they traded for Melo. Was really good at their roster and just took away all semblance of depth that they had.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you because I remember Melo taking visits to Chicago, New York.
Bro.
Yeah, put money on, bro.
I'm looking at it right now, bro.
It was a haul. It was a haul. Yeah.
Y'all right, bro. He was traded February 22nd, bro. That's on me.
Yeah, bro. Because Stoudemire was having an MVP season, bro. That was his last great season, and he fell off the cliff.
I don't ever remember Amari Stoudemire being an MVP candidate. But
he was going crazy that season.
What it was?
I'm about to go look. Nah, that was like 2011. I was in high school, bro.
Okay. So that was like 7 years ago. Right?
I'm about to look it up, but y'all can keep talking. His season stats from that year.
So, I mean, I just want to see. Me and Vance already said we don't see Tibbs staying there the whole 5 years. No. What is the most games you can see Tibbs winning in the season in New York?
30.
I say they can get 500. Jeff Fisher. If he's just the Jeff Fisher in the NBA, he can get to 500.
500?
Man,
I'm with Vance on this one, bro.
They're gonna play some defense.
Bro,
he got a lot of tools. I know you read the stats about his time in Minnesota, but that's just embedded in his nature. And he didn't have. I mean, as ugly as the roster makeup is in New York, there's still talent there. They got so many draft picks. So I think it's a ball of clay. There's to be molded. And, he got a guy, like you said, Mitchell Robinson to protect the rim. Yeah, he's going to have another high draft pick. Y'all keep saying LaMelo.
It got to be LaMelo, bro.
Another dynamic option to pair with Dennis Smith. So I think that if he can get a guy that can really, revamp the offense, try to figure out the spacing, he's going to need some shooters because none of those guys, I don't think any of them shot over 35% from 3 last year. RJ Barrett he's been kind of disappointed, I can't lie. So if he can get, the strategists in there to really help develop and play some defense, because defense wins championships, Mr. Slot receiver. So I think that they have a good chance of making something shape.
Right.
But I like
Stoudemire's
the front office moves that they've been making anyway. I think that somebody's pulling the strings for James Dolan. I don't think he's smart enough to hire Leon Rose and Worldwide West into the front office. So I'm buying New York Knicks stock. That's what I'm buying right now.
Stoudemire's MVP season was 25, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks. All right, but the thing, LaMelo, let's say he does go to New York. Where would you rank him in terms of this draft? Is he top 5? Is he number 1, the number 1 player on the board?
He's top 3 for sure. I think
who the other 2?
Anthony Edwards and James Wiseman. And I think
they're not going to bite on James because of the amount of games that he played.
Well, I really think that whoever goes number one really just depends on who drafts number one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I feel
think
like
so too.
I feel like this is just really a need-based draft. You know what I'm saying?
The Warriors not gonna take another shooter. They might, but I don't think they're gonna definitely take Wiseman.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that'd be the smart.
When is the lottery? Is it in August?
I think so.
I think so.
But if LaMelo is a legitimate like 6'8", he's giving me Penny vibes, y'all. I know that's kind of weird to say, but he's giving me Penny vibes. He can do everything. He runs the point at that size. He's got unlimited range. He's not as consistent as a 3-point shooter as people want to make him out to be, but he has the ability to. He's an elite passer. Not all. Him and Lonzo, they had that pass at G. So, this is kind of hearsay to say in this city, but he's gonna give me Penny vibes.
I'm about to piss off all the Bol Bol stands and call him Austin Day. Austin Day. That's the vibes I get from. I'm just playing. And I would draft him because I know Lonzo is gonna come and play with him. I think Lonzo would come and play with him. Yeah. The Pelicans could be a top 5 seed, and he would lead the Pels to come play with.
That draft lottery is on August 25th.
I'm gonna say this real quick, bro. You said LaMelo giving you Penny vibes. We all know how Penny's career turned once he got to New York, and I think that's very logically where LaMelo's gonna end. And playing with Tom Thibodeau, same thing that happened to Penny in New York is the same thing that's gonna happen to LaMelo in New York. He's going to get run into the ground. He's not going to like playing for Tibbs. And it's just not going to end well. They're going to win 25 to 32 games next season. I'm going to leave it at that.
RJ needs to take a step. Kevin Knox needs to stop stepping backwards. Mitchell Robinson needs to learn to do something besides dunk. So they got a lot of things going on in New York. But,
he was the best player on that team last year.
Mitchell Robinson, hands down.
Because he's basically a grown-up Musa Cisse. So, what is that?
That's all I'm saying is they need a guy who can develop talent. Take a guy who was a star in college and translate it to NBA talent. That's what the Knicks need.
They got a bunch of guys right now. They're not really playing as a team. So I think that they can have some type of. I just have to disagree. I think that Tibbs just brings a championship culture, a guy that has one before, knows what it takes. So I think that he can bring that type of mentality.
As a head coach, he has not won a championship.
Okay, but he definitely won. The Celtics go to with him as an assistant.
That don't count, bro.
Come on, bro.
It don't count.
But it's not the same as winning one as a head coach, bro. An assistant and a head coach are two totally different things. If you ask anybody on that Celtics team, the credit goes to Doc Rivers, not Thibodeau. He has respect around the league, don't get me wrong. But the engineer of that Celtics championship team is Doc Rivers, not Tibbs. And plus, it's not hard to get a guy like KG to play defense, bro. He's been turned on that end of the floor.
It's win 40 games. I want y'all to bring this episode back up and say, "Oh yeah, Josh."
You said the Knicks gonna win 40 games next season.
I didn't say it. I just said if win.
How many games you think they're gonna win?
I could say like 32 or 50 right now. But it's just so many variables. Like RJ Barrett could come out shooting 43% from 3, like nobody business. So it's it probably won't.
I'm just letting you know.
I mean, if you think Steve Nash was his guy daddy, he would be a better passer.
Exactly, bro. If it's contested, he's shooting it, bro. That's the thing. That's the problem.
Yes, it was like RJ should be drafted over Zion. Dude,
he's gonna have a better career arc.
That was stupid now.
Who's gonna have a better career arc, JR or RJ Barrett?
JR.
No. J.R. Smith or R.J. Barrett, he's going to have the better career arc. This is not disrespectful.
Nah, we got to rock with R.J. We got to rock with R.J. We got to. At least right now.
Yeah.
Okay, Cam Reddish or R.J. Barrett?
I like
career arc. Cam Reddish.
I like Cam Reddish a lot. I don't know what Atlanta doing with him. And I don't know if he's going to ever really.
He just hasn't found his groove yet, bro.
He reminds me a lot of Paul George. He's a long, lanky guy that can create off the bounce, has a smooth stroke, can play playing a pinch. but
yeah, I get Trevor Ariza vibes from him.
No, definitely not.
I get more T. Reeves vibes too, bro. He's a better catch and shooter than put it on the floor and create score. You know.
Go look at some Cam Reddish highlights in high school,
bro.
And he went to Duke and he got kind of lost in the shuffle behind those guys.
Bro,
what high school he went to?
He went to West. He went to Westtown in Pennsylvania.
Is that like a public school, or do they play a national schedule?
No, they play the national schedule because of him.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna say this, bro. High school, I watched the video on Overtime that said, asking all these AAU kids who is the hardest person to guard. They said Cam Reddish. He gets to Duke, bro. He gets to Duke and he tries to put the ball on the ground. He had more turnovers than assists, bro. My thing with Cam Reddish, bro, I'm a Duke fan. I watch a lot of Duke basketball. He's more of a spot-up shoot. He's more of a 3-and-D build than a Paul George build. You know what I'm saying? When he gets hot, and he can do it all. But when he's, on a regular day, he's a 3-and-D. I like what your band said, a Trevor Ariza type guy.
Y'all like Dylan Brooks?
I like that.
Well,
Dylan Brooks, kind of sort of.
And so speaking of
Dylan Brooks,
Dylan? I do. But
Brooks, that's what I'm asking.
Dylan Brooks. My bad. I was just going to say, speaking of Dylan Brooks, but let's just flip over and talk about scrimmage. The scrimmage is going on. Let's start talking about the Grizzlies. So, Dylan Brooks, I like Dylan Brooks, bro.
Yeah. First game.
Especially when he's on. When he's on, I love Dylan Brooks. When he's off, I hate Dylan Brooks.
Can Dylan Brooks be the third best player on a championship team?
Yeah, when he's hot.
When he's hot,
yeah.
But
I mean, sometimes he's the best player.
Exactly.
Sometimes he's the best player on the team.
Bro, he's the most reliable shooter on that Grizzlies team.
In these scrimmages, he's not looking his best. I know he just got a new contract. I don't know if he's pressing or what, but he hasn't been shooting the ball the best.
Also,
even before,
you gotta realize he's still a young guy, so he probably hasn't been in the gym like crazy. You know what I'm saying? So he's still trying to get back into his flow. That's my thing.
I'd trade Dylan Brooks for Cam Reddish.
Yeah,
bro, he has that mama mentality, bro.
Exactly, bro.
I'm not saying he bro, he's a shooter. I like it. He just shoots it. We don't have no shooters on our team. We've always been missing a shooter.
He's the best shooter we have, the best catching shooter we have on this Grizzlies team. And speaking of that moment mentality, I remember when he was at Oregon and they made that deep run, Kobe was at all his games, giving them games, talking to him, all that kind of stuff. That's why he only wears Kobe's, bro. He's got that killer instinct in him, and that's what I like.
He was a dog at Oregon for sure, especially leading down the Auburn's team to the Elite Eight. Then they got to the Elite Eight, to the Final Four.
Yeah, Sweet 16 or Elite Eight, I can't remember.
He was definitely Elite Eight.
He bad as he's 24, isn't he? Wasn't he like a 24-year-old rookie or second-year player or something like that? So he's not like a lot of these young guys coming out in their freshman years. So it's kind of expected almost to a point where he's a little further in his career development than Cam Reddish or any other one and done freshman. But I just think that at least right now, the way he's been shooting the ball recently, I just don't see that Dylan Brooks can be a viable third option for your championship team.
But if we being honest, bro, Dylan Brooks is not the third best player on this team. If we're being honest, it goes Ja, Jaren, and I say Jonas or BC, whichever way you want to slice it.
BC the second best player on the team, in my opinion. Just watch it.
You like him better than
Yeah. I like Jaren. No, don't get me wrong. I like Jaren. Jaren be letting it fly from deep. But
big facts.
BC, he just gives his element of the game. He just has a great feel for the game. He makes the right play.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, talking about the Grizzlies, how did y'all feel about those first couple of scrimmages? Just watching the Grizzlies get back on the court and watching them try to find that groove. Just
very disappointing. None of the energy and the edge that they left the bubble with. I'm not left the bubble. They left the season with. So, but that's to be expected. We're literally in a time of transition. Everybody is. So I'm just looking at my screen through the glass on my bench.
Yeah.
But so they came out shooting very poorly. But they got together in the second half, like you said. Although Philly didn't play any of their starters. So, but in this second game versus Houston, I liked a lot of the energy that came out. They led most of the first half. I think they kind of played, with a lot more continuity, a lot more ball movement. But James Harden did James Harden things in the second half. So they lost.
Yeah, I agree with fourth quarter really the last 2 minutes.
Go like 0 for 9 to start the game off. So I just think that Ja and Jaren and all the guys really did a great job of getting him to take tough shots. And that's kind of what Taylor Jenkins hangs his hat on. Playing good defense, turning defense into offense because they had something like 18 fast break points in the first quarter, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the quintessential Grizzlies quarter. Getting easy buckets off of your defense. And you have a star point guard, in Ja Morant, Big 12. So with somebody like that, the sky is the limit because that's a true dog right there. We have an unequivocal leader for your franchise. When the pecking order is set, there's no limit to how good y'all can get.
When these 8 games and the playoffs start, how many minutes you want to see Ja play?
I mean, they have to fight out because of the Pillsbury Doughboy schedule that the Pelicans got, honestly. Speaking of how fair or unfair it is, the case of point is that they're a battle for the AC. So, yeah. I mean, honestly, 30 to 35. You got to get them out there. We got to win these games.
I think you got to push 35-40, not going to lie to you.
I mean, I don't think so because I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith in that second unit, bro. D'Anthony Melton and Tyus Jones, bro. You don't have to run Ja on the ground when you got those guys coming off the bench. Because, we've seen it all season with the Grizzlies, and we've even seen it in the scrimmages. When those two guys come in, it's not much of a drop-off in the offense. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Tyus as a conductor. Melton has taken strides as a shooter, in my opinion.
Hey, I'm a fan. Yeah, he's nice.
So, catching, shooting threes, creating for others, and Tyus Jones is running everything. I have no problem, taking Ja off the court and letting those guys run. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like the Grizzlies are just devoid of depth.
Go Vance.
Who do you think is better, Josh Jackson or what's the other wing? The wing, Kyle Anderson. Yeah, who's better?
I'm not
Kyle. Gonna lie.
I've been a Kyle Anderson fan since high school. He played at St. Anthony's under Bobby, one of the legendary
Bobby Hurley. Yeah.
I always liked his game. I was always, as a basketball guy, trapping football guy, I always appreciated somebody that can have passing vision, and he's an elite passer. He's always played he's always been a primary ball handler, and we have somebody that can make plays, knows where to be at, and can get an offense, and I think that Josh Jackson is a good playmaker, creator. He's a little bit of a shooter. Although Kyle Anderson hit 2 threes last game. But that ball movement, that passing ability, I'll take that over Josh Jackson. But I like both of them, honestly.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like, you got to start one guy because Justice was supposed to be that guy to step up and start at the 3 for the Grizzlies, but we know he's out for the bubble. And so, well, yeah. But I think I feel like Kyle Anderson is the right guy to start, but I feel like Josh Jackson is the guy with the most upside. You know what I'm saying? Because Kyle Anderson, he just keeps everything flowing in that Grizzlies offense, keeps the ball moving. And in the bubble, he's shown the ability to hit the open threes. So in the first scrimmage, he went 3 for 4 from 3. He used to be reluctant to take those shots, but now he's hitting them with confidence. So I think that's a big step in Kyle Anderson's game, in terms of, just that being effective at that 3 spot.
Yeah.
And so, but I feel like Josh Jackson,
JV, Jaren, and BC, because, I mean, you don't want to end up like the Pistons with Josh Smith playing the 3, nothing stupid. But those are just 3, ultimately, those are 3 starting level bigs, you feel me? And I just don't, those guys, they can't play together. So what do y'all feel about that?
All right, who are the 3 you said?
BC, Jaren, and Jonas.
It's no problem with the Grizzlies, bro.
I mean, BC can hit the open 3. Jaren can hit all 3 of them can hit the open 3, though.
And you don't have to start.
I think
they can play 3, 4, 5. They can all.
Yeah, you don't have to play. You don't put all.
I mean, if the game on the line, bro. If the game on the line, the lineup I want is Ja, DB, Jaren, Jonas Valanciunas, and probably BC.
Nah, bro.
I would have. I mean, bro, you got 2 scorers that can score out the dribble. pick and roll with the other two, then have another guy just spot up.
No, bro.
I mean, I like to see
game on the line.
Coming around the 3 like that. I want him.
But game on the line, the lineup I want to see is Ja, Melton, Brooks, Jaren, and BC, bro. Or Jonas, just depending on who I'm playing, BC or Jonas, bro.
Okay.
Because Jonas is a real paint presence, bro. I love Jonas.
I ain't gonna lie, when the Rockets with that small ball lineup, he was destroying them. I can't lie.
I mean, yeah, and that's to be expected, but that's why you got a guy like BC who can come in and provides that defensive versatility to switch on the pick and rolls, pick up guards in space, and, just be a defensive nuisance.
Crunch time, my favorite lineup is Ja, Milton. I like Kyle Anderson, and then BC and Jaren. I know Jaren's a little small to be playing the 5 right now, but those are 5, you can really switch 1 through 5 with that lineup, honestly. Or the 2 through 5. John's a little weaker right now. And although he does play great defense, he can guard most 1s and 2s, but he's not really switching on to a real 3 or 4 like that. But I just think that lineup gives you the best ball move, the best shooters, because anybody in that 5 can knock down an open 3. So that's the lineup I would go.
I miss Jay Crowder, bro.
The game is not
big facts, bro.
The game is going to the stream. Say again.
Miss Jay Crowder,
bro.
Key piece, bro. He was that real
boss
locker
man,
room piece. CJ Bossman 99, bro.
He wears jerseys and pay. No, he legit. Come on now.
All right, and so last question about the Grizzlies before we move on to the whole NBA. Do y'all see the Grizzlies holding on to the 8 seed in these 8 seeding games?
That second game gave me hope. I'm not gonna lie to you. At first, I was like, "Oh my goodness, you about to go 1-7 in the bubble, bro." But I think they'll go 500.
Who's playing today, y'all?
The Grizzlies play today.
The Grizzlies play today.
No,
it's some more.
Yeah,
it's another
Tuesday,
scrimmage lineup. It's more scrimmages today.
The season start Thursday.
Thursday. The season start Thursday. Pelicans Jazz kick it off Thursday.
Bro, you want to know the matchup I want to see? August 8th, the Rockets play the Jazz.
That's gonna be a great game.
That is
5 bigs versus 5 smalls, bro. Who y'all got winning?
Rockets.
Not the way that Russell shoot yesterday. I can't lie.
Bro, who's gonna guard Harden, bro? Who guards Harden? Bol Bol? You just try to get his hand up.
Wait, you talking about the night? You said Jazz. I thought you were talking about.
In Bol Bol we trust, bro. I'm a big Bol Bol fan. I've got Bol Bol stock from high school, so it don't even matter. But let Nick do the wonderful transitions like he does, and I'll talk about it.
So anyway, so just close it out, keep it short. Predictions for Grizzlies and the 8 seed. Then we're gonna flip it over to that whole NBA.
They keep it. They hold off the.
Especially with Zion not playing these scrimmages right now. My bad to talk over you. But the way Zion hasn't been playing in the scrimmages, that continuity is not going to be there for them like this. So, as an unbiased –
my bad. Zion is supposed to be back Thursday, so I will say that. His status is questionable for Thursday. Which is the seeding game opener.
I'm going to say I think they hold off the Blazers and not the Pelicans. I like the way the Blazers are playing, but I'm still going to have the Grizzlies. To have to beat them 2 times in a row is possible, but I don't see that happening. I think they will have to do the little play-in game, though, where they got to win 1 compared to 2. Because
so you think they hold on to the 8 seed, though?
Yes. They won't beat the 9 seed
now. They got what? They already got a 3.5 games up.
They 3.5 games up. But, speaking about the Blazers, that's why that opening seeding game is so important. Because you beat the Blazers, that gives you a whole game pushing.
Yeah.
So, now flipping over to the whole NBA. Well, actually, before we do that, I just got one comment to make. Like you said about the Grizzlies' first game, I wasn't as concerned because you got to think about who you're facing that first game, bro. You got a starting lineup of Ben Simmons, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, and Josh Richardson, bro. That's a defensive juggernaut.
That is the
of course you're gonna come out. Yeah, of course you're gonna come out struggling shooting the ball against that team, especially first game back of real action, that's a tough game to come back against. Especially when Ben Simmons got confidence in shooting threes on you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like Steve Thibodeau too. He's a he looked like Tony Allen on defense. The way that just the timing that he has, his ability to see defensive rotations. I don't even speak
he's
like
way bigger with more wingspan.
And then
he's Andre Roberson, bro.
I was like, what's going on?
Bro, yeah, that kind of had me sad because I didn't even see that. Like, I started watching after a point. I did not see that until he hit Twitter, bro.
I seen it live. Son.
I saw it live, bro. I was like, oh, my God.
My buddy said don't jump with me, and he jumped.
Exactly. Crucial. But the Grizzlies did bounce back in that second scrimmage against the Rockets, and I think they showed, they can make a lot of noise in these seeding games. Even though, Harden turned it on him in the last 2 minutes. And that's just something you got to live with. Harden hitting tough step-back threes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now flipping it to the whole NBA, I know y'all excited to talk about Bol Bol. So let's talk about the players who stood out to us the most over these scrimmages.
Besides Bol Bol, I really liked how PG came out in the first scrimmage. I think he had like 13 to 14 in the first quarter. He looked good. The Clippers, they've been dealing with a lot of injuries this season, but everybody's healthy now. They got Kawhi back, Pat Bear back. I like the way that they're looking, and I think that it's going to be I think it'll be the battle of LA in the conference finals. And as of right now, I don't know who I'll take. That's a I'm about to say something kind of crazy. I can say that they got the best 2 leagues in the NBA.
Well. You think it's gonna be Battle of LA in the finals? I got a guy that has something to say about that, and that's Jeff Harden, bro. Harden has been in his bag, bro. Don't take it layup. I'm saying, but think about it, bro. Harden's lost weight. He's taking time off, so his body's not beat down like it normally is going into the playoffs. He's a guy who's top 10 in usage rate every year in the league. And then you got to go into the playoffs to play more games. Of course, you're going to break down come the playoff time. So my thing with Harden is he looks refreshed. He's moving well with the weight he's lost. And it's like, you just can't guard him. The Grizzlies saw it first game. He dropped 31 on him, bro. It's just like, what are you going to do to stop Harden, bro? He looks good coming back.
Yeah, he had rat droppers in his head, first of all. I don't know what kind of
he's a basketball messiah.
He said he's rocking the Blue Lives Matter, man. So just off GP, I can't really rock with Harden just off GP. Off those two things.
Bro. I don't care about the Blue Lives. But we
know what the Rockets do when it comes to the. No.
Yeah.
They set a record failing. So.
We know the exhausted.
Okay, but James Harden is still a Rocket. It's not the Houston James Hardens.
I mean, he's the engine that makes that Rockets team go. Especially with this 5-out ball they're going to be playing, he's most definitely going to make that team go.
I think if the Rockets make this push that you're talking about, it's really going to be on Brody because he was averaging like the most points in the paint per game before Ms. Rona kind of took us out. So I think he's actually the real benefactor of the 5-out stuff.
I mean,
but I don't that far with PJ Tucker at center. I just can't see it. I'm sorry.
Okay, you just got to think, bro. How many dominant back-to-the-back centers are there that are getting fed? It's not as big of a problem as you're trying to make it.
Embiid not even a back-to-the-basket center, bro.
Exactly.
I mean, these guys are back-to-the-basket until they see somebody 6'5" that they can post up.
And it's not like Tucker's just an easy post-up, bro. He holds his weight.
He for sure burned me.
Shout out Zebo, bro. We need to bring that back, bro.
Hey, back, bro.
I mean, if I'm playing the Rockets first round, I'm bringing Zebo in. Tell him go in on PJ Tucker, bro. He probably would average 25
right now.
PJ Tucker in the bubble. Yeah, give him 15 shots. He'll average.
Disrespect, bro.
I mean, he's nice, but when I'm saying that, I'm tired of the Zebo disrespect, bro. Hall of Famer. I'm gonna throw that out.
I agree with that.
But anyways, I mean, it's no players, I would say, but I think a lot of the teams, like the better teams, are asserting their dominance early, specifically in the scrimmage games. It shows like who are the better teams, like the Lakers, Clippers, Bucks, 76ers. I think that it's gonna be 76ers versus Bucks, and it's gonna go to 7 games. Who's gonna win that game 7? it's just going to depend on if Embiid is playing like a grown man he is, or they just going to let Antetokounmpo go off for like 40 and 25. Hey, speaking of little bro got dunked on. Did y'all see that?
Bro,
Did.
oh my God.
My boy head cracked like an egg on the floor though. I hate for sure got baptized.
He just woke up. He like this.
Hold on.
Bro, y'all saw him and Giannis on the bench together after that, bro. Man gave him a pat on the head like it'd be okay.
Nah, for sure. You gotta like take your boy out after that.
Giannis was like the big brother. It was kind of sad.
Hey, big fact.
That was wild disrespect.
Hey, but speaking of big brothers, bro, we got to talk about the 7'2" man who's kind of running the scrimmages right now. And that's Bol Bol, bro.
Oh, my God.
Man, yes. You know,
gotta step over his foot, bro.
Nick already knows, man. First of all, first time I seen Bol Bol was in high school. In person was in high school. I don't know what Nick talking about. That man is like 9'2". I can't even lie. Because they did play the number 1 team, Memphis East High School, at the Eleanor Roan Fieldhouse. And those articles that he has, he really didn't even display them like that. You know, Philly Prep as one of the best high school programs in the country. They kind of had him more of the traditional center, protecting the rim, rebounding, occasional spot of threes, trailer, things like that. But in Oregon, it was kind of something that I seen that not a lot of people talked about because he did fall all the way to the second round. But he's legitimately. You
know, he had that foot injury at Oregon. He didn't play a lot. I want to say he only played like 1-2 games.
He only played.
Was it club foot?
I think he had a broken bone in his foot. I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just kind of crazy to kind of see the things that he was doing in Oregon. Honestly, the same thing he was doing now, running to the wing, shooting threes. Great timing on being able to defend him, not defend, but to block jumpers on the perimeter. And it was just like, man, is nobody seeing this, you know, this dark skinned Kevin Durant out here. You know, he's not obviously as mobile or fluid as KD off the bounce. But he like the skill that he has. I was like, man, this is a lottery guy. Especially in kind of a mid-level draft. That's somebody I could take a chance on, you know, around 12, the back end of the lottery and see what happens. And, you know, I've been excited to kind of track his development in the G League, and now he's just kind of showing the world what he's been able to do. At 7'3", I'm going to run, I'm going to come off screens, I'm going to handle the ball, and I'm going to, you know, do guard things. And, you know, his height is incredible, and do the things he does. We haven't seen anybody like that come in the league in a long time.
Yeah, bro, true unicorn for real. Exactly. But the league is in great hands though. Like in terms of the future, because for a while it was just like after LeBron, after Steph, after Harden, like all the stars right now, who's it gonna be? But like these last 2-3 years, they really produced some stars. You got Luka, Trey. You got Luka in the bubble. You got Bol Bol in the bubble, and then you got Zion in the bubble. You got all these young stars coming up. It's like, ooh, hey, he a dog, bro.
I don't know if he's in the same conversation as the guy you just mentioned, but he is not.
He in there, bro.
But
who is Zion in there?
Wait, hold on. Before we get talking about the Nuggets, bro. I mean the Pelicans. I want to talk about the Nuggets for a little bit more, bro.
Oh yeah, look at that starting line. That's crazy for sure.
I mean, we got to realize Michael Porter Jr. is on the way, bro. That can make that team scary.
Who do you take out, Grant or Millsaps?
Say it again.
Or Plumlee. Who do you take out the starting lineup?
Plumlee.
For MPJ. Plumlee?
Plumlee don't start, though.
He did in the first one.
But that was a joke scrimmage, bro. You had Jokic starting at the 1, bro.
Yeah, is it a joke? Is it a joke?
I don't think. Because Gary Harris and Will Barton weren't there yet, bro. So I think that was.
But think about it. The offense already runs through Jokic anyway. You might as well just let him drill the ball up the court. Because what do they do? What did Jamal Murray do? Drill the ball up the court and throw it to him in the high post. And then they facilitate offense through him.
Jokic.
Just dribbling the ball up the court.
First of all, we're not going to disrespect Jamal Murray, bro. He's a very capable.
Jamal Murray slender. But when that offense is at its peak level, it's with Jokic at the hem, at the high post, mid post level, facilitating, pinpoint passes, doing work down low. That's what the optimal level of that offense is. No, Jamal Murray I would say that he's always best in the clutch to get a bucket. He's just a pure shot creator type of guy. But quarters 1 through 3, get the ball to Jokic. Let them guys spot up and let him do what he does.
So you go Bol Bol, Jokic, MPJ, Jamal Murray, then Barton or Gary Harris?
I'm probably gonna go. I'm gonna go Gary Harris. Bring Will the Thrill off the bench with some spark.
Bro, he's a starter though. That's the thing, bro. He's a starter.
But I mean, 6-man starter. Either way you get it, you're gonna get your buckets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
You need to pop off the bench though. I can see that. Lou Will could have been starting for all these years if it was just technical based on who start the game. But I think Will the Thrill coming off the bench. That's the formula that the Nuggets need. But that starting 5 is crazy, like you said. Jokic, Millsaps, not even Plumlee, but Jamal Murray, Gary Harris. That's scary. That's a first round. Who won the first round?
That's what I was going to say. And then you got to think about the depth coming off the bench. Assuming those are the starters. You got Torrey Craig, Will Barton, Plumlee. You got all these guys coming off the bench that Paul Millsap coming off the bench that can just as well, be starters. You know what I'm saying?
He been in the league 10 years and started every single one.
Exactly. Sure. To be honest, I still think Bol Bol's gonna come off the bench once the team games get started. I think Paul Millsap's still gonna be the starter. I think Bol Bol and the young guys gonna come off the bench.
I mean, he kind of getting off, bro. I think you got.
I agree, but you got to think
the way
about
he been getting off.
But you got to think about it though, bro. The Nuggets are third in the West with that lineup of, Murray, Harris, Barton, Jokic, and Millsap. That's how they. You know what I'm saying? That's just the continuity coming in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I can see. But I ain't gonna lie. If Bol keeps playing like this, it'll be hard to keep him out of the starting lineup with the production in the game because there's nobody to match up with. Who's gonna match up with it? Giannis? Maybe.
I mean, yeah, but it's just still, bro. But you also got to think, bro. This is Bol Bol's first NBA action. He hasn't played in the D League. He hasn't done any of that kind of stuff. So it's just like, it's just like he's still got to get acclimated. These scrimmages do a little something to get him acclimated, but he's not all the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's not a real NBA player. Well, that's not fair to say, but he's not vetted into the NBA for real yet. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think about it, bro. He's playing in scrimmages. What do the scrimmages do?
I kind of jumped the gun earlier, but, hot NFL news up the prior. That's facts. But Joe Burrow just signed $23 million signing bonus.
Saw that.
And Marquise Goodwin is going to opt out. So that's
I just saw that.
He opted out?
Yeah.
Well, he was with 49ers, huh?
Yeah.
Seahawks.
Samuel, step up, sir.
So Goodwin plays for the Eagles now, by the way. But last NBA topic. Have any teams impressed y'all a lot?
76.
76. I like that one.
They going to the finals, bro. I mean, I had them going to the finals before the bubble even started, bro. Yeah. That's just a talented team.
Yes.
Y'all got anything to add on 76ers? Or you got another team, Josh?
I'm about to say, I know that everybody, likes to joke on Dion and JR, but for right now, they're just looking like a success.
Oh, yeah.
Dion is kind of doing what he does in terms of shot creation. And one of his underrated characters, he's a dog on defense. So he can, off the bench, put on your best microwave scorer, or even your best 2 guard, he's going to hold his own.
Yeah.
So the Chargers win 6 for 7 from 3 yesterday. So, hey, it can get wild for them off the court, but for them 2 hours that they're on the court, they can both constantly produce fair shots, knock down shots. And that's kind of what LeBron needs is a guy that can get buckets because, he just needs the floor spread out for his greatness, really. So I'm very tentative right there because, things can go either way for them at any moment. But as of right now, I can declare it a mild success.
I mean, for the Lakers, they have probably 10 players that are starters, like that type of caliber in the league that could be starters. Mm-hmm. How many other teams in the league could you say has that? Maybe like 2 other Clippers are 1.
Yeah.
Who else after that? Not the Bucks. I mean, it's like Pat Con, he nice, but Who else is gonna start?
The Bucks will probably be the closest. They probably got like 7 or 8 guys that you can really throw out.
Or Philly, yeah. Or the Heat. The Heat got a nice little lineup too.
That's who the Grizzlies play at 1. Actually, I just saw that. So I'm gonna be 2 different.
Oh, they played them at 1. So like in the hour.
It's the first one in the game.
I'm about to check that out
for sure.
But I'm gonna say this, bro. The team that impressed me the most, and y'all, Dan's probably gonna get on me for this, bro. It's the team that has the player who I think is gonna win MVP, and that's the Mavericks, bro. The way they came out in that first scrimmage and the subsequent scrimmages, bro, they just look like they've come together as a team for real. Especially Luka and KP. So I just think
he finished the scrimmage because he missed a COVID test.
Oh yeah. So like I just think Luka's turned it on. He's still my bet to win MVP. Steph Curry has stepped it up. Man went 8 for 8 with 6 threes in the first scrimmage.
I did see that.
Stupid. And then I didn't mean to talk about KP, but Bol Bol has even looked nice in these scrimmages, bro.
That's a tall dude too.
Exactly. Like he looks clumsy, bro, but when he gets that rock in his hands, bro, he's gonna get a bucket.
Then I see my boy hit a 3 yesterday or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, Bol Bol?
Like that.
Yeah.
Bro, Bol Bol is like that, bro.
If I see Bol Bol take a 3, bro, I'm benching him.
Bro, JaVale took a 3 and you didn't bench him.
So I mean, JaVale, you expect that, bro. Like Bol Bol, you have common sense, bro.
I don't want to hear it, bro. I think the Mavs, they're the 7th seed. They pretty much locked into the 7th seed. Don't be surprised if they put the Clips to 7 games.
Would they beat the Clips? I mean,
I don't think so.
They gonna get locked up.
I think PG and Kawhi will terrorize Luka though. I can't lie.
Yeah, Montrezl Harrell gonna punk out KP, too. Bro. Montrezl Harrell gonna terrorize KP.
Is Montrezl Harrell back in the bubble yet?
No, shout out Lou Will. Shout out Lou Will, bro.
Hey, big fact.
Hey, that fool look good.
But did y'all see the plate? Y'all saw that plate? I would have to go to Magic City too, bro.
Hey, on the YouTube page, bro, make sure that that plate is on the cover.
I got you. I got you. Sure. That plate looks that looks spectacular.
I go there and not look at not one cheek and get some wings.
Oh God. I would go in there just for the skull box, bro. Because like,
don't touch me.
Exactly, bro. I was watching the first take with Bomani Jones, bro. And he was like, "Y'all don't understand Atlanta culture. Magic City is more than a strip club." And then when I saw that picture, bro, I was like, "Yeah, I get what you're saying now, big bro."
Nah, for sure. I was like, "Man, they're like a Dixie Queen play, my boy." Like,
man, what? Hey, come on, bro. Folks from Memphis not gonna know about the Dixie Queen, bro.
Right. Till we go national, we're gonna put y'all on once we start blowing up. Like.
Hey, big fact. Big fact. And so, last topic of the day, bro. A league that isn't doing a bubble, we got to talk about the MLB. I'm not going to lie, they're having a lot of problems. Well, they had an outbreak. I'm not going to say a lot of problems because it's just one team right now, but it's a major problem. Considering that they had 14 total cases as of Monday, and then they had 4 more players test positive today. It's almost like they have a corona outbreak going on. So what are y'all's thoughts about this?
I think I did read that Phillies that they in the process of being tested, so they're waiting on the results to see how many of their guys will be positive. Contact tracing to see who all those positive contact with, and quarantining those guys, limiting their exposure. But man, that's real unfortunate for baseball. And Rob Manfred needs to do something about that. ASAP.
Big fact. Because I think the biggest takeaway from this is the MLB is trying to play 60 games in 66 days. So canceling games is going to have a profound impact on whether they are able to complete the whole season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like you said, the Marlins home opener was canceled. So that's 2 games that got canceled for the Marlins. And then they're supposed to play the Orioles Wednesday and Thursday. And they might not even have enough players to play that game. So that's the potential for 2 more games to get canceled. And the Phillies and Yankees game got postponed because, like you said, the Marlins would play the Phillies last. And so, they're trying to get all the Phillies tested and make sure, none of those guys have COVID. So I just think it's like, bad news because these teams are still traveling all across the country and potentially taking Corona with them. So it just doesn't look good to me as a fan in the MLB from the MLB.
But it is.
First things first, shout out Austin Riley, DeSoto Central, high school powerhouse, bro. You already know.
He was gonna get DC in the show, bro. I was out in your hood earlier doing that.
Yes, sir.
It's dry.
You said it's dry out there.
It's dry. I'm not talking about.
You gotta hit a tank. Oh. Hey, PG. Anyways, I'm gonna put it like this. I don't think they're gonna make it through the month of August. It's gonna get canceled. You can't 60 games in 66 days. Like, no matter what sport you love, that don't even sound fun. Not even gonna lie to you, bro.
That is a overload of sport.
It's like I could play full court. I could play pickup full court basketball all day, but sometimes you just need a break, bro. Just
exactly.
But at the end of the day, you just gonna have to. They just might as well cancel it. Because, you're not really making any money, are you? You might make some TV revenue,
deal
but
money.
Ain't nobody watching that.
Yeah, because a lot of it's not no fans. A lot of the stadiums are tarped up to prevent. And, it's not like basketball. The visual aesthetics of baseball kind of is a lot. It's really tied heavily into the game. They're already missing a big component of that. So in baseball as a sport, it's kind of it was the national pastime, but I think we can safely say it's back in third behind basketball and football.
Yeah.
So they might well just cut their losses and just try again next season.
Yeah, because the Marlins are the only team to have like this kind of outbreak. There have been a few positive cases, here and there, but like it just doesn't look good from like on the outside looking in because as a fan, you expect the league to take care of the players, do everything they can to keep them safe. And it's like you got a whole outbreak with a team. Like, it's just a bad look. But, like, taking a look at this, like, how do y'all see this impacting the NFL season? Because similar to the MLB, the NFL is not doing a bubble. You're going to have to travel, state to state, most of the time flying. So, like, just how can you see this impacting the NFL season? Or how can you see like an outbreak being handled by the NFL?
I think this. First thing I'll say is I think a lot of the MLB's plan will come on based on the results of the contact tracing of the Marlins and guys on the Phillies are going to be positive because if they miraculously have no positive testing, all you got to do is quarantine the Marlins and get it back running. But I think the Dale and the NFL, they're going to be looking really closely at how the MLB handles it and what missteps they take in order to kind of prevent those things. I don't think that. Obviously, the NFL is the sport most averse to social distancing and having more participants on the field at one time. But I think that the NFL it's got a lot smarter people making decisions for them. I think I haven't heard a lot about Rob Manfred as a commissioner, but I think they'll be taking a real close look and trying to see that. How Major League Baseball handles the situation, what they do wrong, what they do right, kind of the same mistakes. Get a little bit more proactive now, especially with talking about last players, kind of making demands and the Players Association kind of demanding things like no preseason games. But it'll be interesting to see. The next couple of days are kind of really telling to see not only about the future of MLB this season, but what the NFL will do because they'll definitely take some cues.
Yeah, I agree.
The only way it's going to work is if they do it in a bubble because you can't travel all around the world once a week and then expect nobody, absolutely nobody. You're going to go into a hotel room and one of the rooms going to have COVID-19 all up in the air, bro. All it takes is one person to get it, and then it's passed on to everybody else. Because you understand how many people you come in contact with in just one practice.
Exactly.
A practice,
And my thing is, bro, with football, like baseball, like is not a contact sport. So like, let's say the Marlins had it when they played the Phillies, it's gonna be harder for the Marlins to give it to the Phillies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if I'm a football team and I got a player who's got COVID, it's 9 times out of 10 somebody on the other team is gonna get it too. Just because of all the contact things like that going on in the sport. So I feel like there needs, like, of course, there needs to be testing before and after games to just ensure, nobody has it. But, like, if an outbreak does happen, I just don't see how you can, just quarantine players of an NFL team in enough time to where they don't spread it to their teammates and it doesn't become an outbreak. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So what percentage would y'all place on the likelihood of the NFL playing this season now with this news?
I mean, with 75. The players opting out,
they'll get a game in.
You said 75%.
They'll get a game in. It'll probably get canceled halfway through.
So you're saying 75% that they play the whole season, or 75% that they just have one game?
75 that they just have one game.
I think, like, in terms of the whole season, bro, I'm gonna go 55%, because you got players opting out. Baseball just had an outbreak. Travel is gonna be ridiculous. Like, I'm really skeptical about everything going on right now.
It's just like how the teams like, let's just say in baseball, how are they handling like the teams in Canada? Can they travel or no?
The Blue Jays
are playing
games at their home stadium.
They are not.
You cannot.
Yeah, I think the Blue Jays are playing in New York or Massachusetts, somewhere like that.
Okay.
They're playing at somebody else's part.
So, what Van said, I'm not too optimistic about the NFL getting their season off the ground, and I just find it crazy that my season has been pushed back. It's looking more and more likely that the NFL season probably be canceled. But guess what? My high school is still practicing right now, and they're getting ready to. So,
ridiculous. Man. So your high school tell I'm gonna report y'all.
My brother high school practicing right now too.
I'm gonna have to report it. As soon as y'all hit 10-0, y'all got one more game to playoffs. I'm gonna make that phone call, bro.
Bro, the only schools that aren't practicing right now in Memphis are public schools like SCS. Because the only thing SCS schools are cleared to do is conditioning.
How's that gonna work? So it's just gonna, like, y'all go to school online out the day, and then y'all just drive up to the school and practice?
I think that's what they're gonna do. I know they gave them the option for virtual education, but I think there's also an option to come to school too.
If you had a kid, would you send them to school or would you do virtual?
Kids are nasty.
Virtual.
Kids are nasty.
Y'all would do virtual?
Yeah.
I mean, Corona builds character, bro, so I'm sending my kids to school, bro.
Wow. Never sending my
Uncle
Man's house. It's going to be
a big fat.
Snot, balls, some more. Don't want the type of character you got going, sir. Not at all.
That lunch table is going to build character in Corona, bro. So.
No.
Yes.
Man, I remember elementary
school. It's not worth it.
Get on my soapbox. Our
what you want to say, Fat Boy Josh? Your screen went blank and it said Fat Boy Josh, bro.
I am my jump finna die. It's all we think. But no, I was at Ottawa Elementary, and our playground equipment was like military training, like like the military course training, bro, like that. And it was written out in bold letters: "Do not use this playground equipment." And adults, like salary professionals, was like, "Yeah, y'all can play on that." So I really was cut as a JIF to play like sports because I was training on a military course at recess, so I had no choice but to be an athlete.
Ridiculous, bro.
Now I'm gonna drop over there. It's the biggest because it had like the rules of what you can do on each thing, like because it had like monkey bars, but it's really for like obstacle courses. But it's a whole sign. It's like, do not use this playground equipment. This is not playground equipment. Guess who was on the playground? Your boy. Your boy. We're gonna first of all, we're gonna as we close up, we're gonna shout out the solidarity of my brother Vance, rocking with the glasses with me. I had to step up a little. The red specs, the square jumps, the I can't see in class, so I got to get my first pair of C. Them jumps. Oh. I had to come a little different, you know. It's 2-3 next week. I know you say you don't own none. Get you a cheap pair, Dollar General.
I'm straight on the glasses, but it's not my look, bro.
You can be looking like Miss Crocker. You'll be straight.
Well, you getting real disrespectful, bro.
He gonna look like Wale.
But I swear to God, if somebody compare me to Wale again, bro, I might have to alter myself, bro. That's the worst comparison I've ever heard in my life, bro. I remember, like, when I first started growing my dreads, but somebody said, hey, bro, you kind of like Wale. I was like, come on. I almost cut them off that day. I'm
Is it bad, babe?
Come on. All right, bro. So, anyway, we finna get out of here because these folks tweaking. Hey, tweaking. So, anyway, we finna get out of here because I'm not finna be disrespected on the net like this. So, we appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Follow us on Twitter. Check the blog out.
Tell your baby mama, tell your auntie, tell your sister, tell somebody that don't know what a podcast is to listen to this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so y'all be smooth, be safe out here. It's still Corona time, and we out of here.
All right.